Have you ever watched the episodes before the Tournament of Power and wanted to know every possible fighter that could have become the 10th member of the Universe 7 team? Well, you're in luck now, because I will be going over every fighter that could have filled that spot, coming from Earth, space, or the Otherworld. Let's begin.
First, we will be going through the warriors from Earth. The most obvious candidate would be Yamcha. He was already shown to be waiting for an invitation to the tournament, and he was also the first Z fighter to join Goku on the team. In the tournament, Yamcha would have excellent synergy with Goku and Krillin for being part of the Turtle School, and would have good synergy with Master Roshi and Tien. He would most likely get a chance to use his different techniques, from the Wolf Fang Fist to the Sokidan, but will definitely be the first one to get knocked out from Universe 7. The next pick would be Chaozu. Although a lot of people think that he would be absolutely useless, they often forget that teamwork and strategy are much more important than raw power. Chaozu is an experienced fighter and has great support skills. He would have excellent synergy with Tien and would likely stand by his side until either of them gets knocked out. Chaozu's paralysis would be very useful to stop enemies from moving, but wouldn't work on stronger fighters like Hit, Majikaio, or Berserker Kale. He would get knocked out rather early in the tournament to get rid of his telekinesis. The most unlikely person to join the tournament would be Majin Buu, but if there were completely no other fighter except him, Whis could use his staff to awaken the Elder Kai in him. The Elder Kai is much more mature than Buu, so he would be a lot more useful. Elder Kai would probably support everyone else with his powers and would be willing to sacrifice himself for the sake of the universe. However, if Majin Buu wakes up instead, or Elder Kai makes Buu take control, it would be a completely different story. Buu would definitely be the most important member of the team. With his immortality, Candy Beam, and his healing powers, Buu would lead the team to success. Except that he would cause a huge ruckus that he would get knocked away in one hit by Jiren. A more unlikely pick would be either Goten or Trunks. Both of them are inexperienced and wouldn't be able to do much without fusion, but if it came to it, one of them would be picked for the tournament. It is more likely that someone would be taken off the team since Goten and Trunks work well together. Either Krillin or Tien could step down to let them fight together. Goten and Trunks have excellent synergy with one another, and good synergy with Piccolo. They would fuse when they face their first tough opponent, and would stay fused for a good while. They will use Super Saiyan 3, which will drain their fusion time, and will likely get knocked out after unfusing. It is possible one of them might last more than the other to give him his own moment to shine. They would most likely last a good while in the tournament, but they wouldn't make it till the end. Aside from Earth, Goku could go to the Otherworld in hopes of bringing a 10th member from there, and there are a lot of options to choose from. Paikuhan, or Paikon, is one such example. He is a very strong fighter and would definitely be able to perform very well, especially since he didn't stop training from the start of the series and beyond. Paikuhan would probably be on the same level as Piccolo and Android 17. He would team up with Goku, Vegeta, or both of them. He could last more than half of the tournament, but he is bound to be knocked out sooner or later. Olibu could also be a contender for the 10th spot. Although Paikuhan is a better option, Olibu is still a very strong fighter, and he fought very well against Paikuhan in the Anoichi Budokai. Olibu isn't known to having a plethora of techniques, but he could still use raw power in the tournament. Naturally, Olibu would be a good teammate with Goku. He could also team up with Krillin, Tien, or Master Roshi, since he was also from Earth and he might be familiar with the martial arts from Earth that Krillin and the others use. However, I don't think Olibu would last that long in the tournament, and he might be knocked out around the same time as Krillin or Tien. Another strong option would be Dabura. In the Buu saga, he was already stated to be at Perfect Cell's level. Although he might not be in the top 5 strongest members, Dabura has the ability to turn anyone to stone with his spit. This technique doesn't kill the opponent, so it might be allowed, and even if it wasn't, the Demon World would probably have a huge collection of techniques on the shelf that could be of great help to the team. Dabura could be a good duo with Piccolo, since they were both Demon Kings before, and maybe even Gohan, since they both fought each other and should know each other's fighting styles. However, having such dangerous techniques would make Dabura a target by all the universes, and they would probably try to dispatch of him as soon as possible. I could see Universe 9 teaming up in the beginning to take out Dabura before they go for Goku, and he would last that much before going out. Going down from here, we have some contenders in the home for infant losers. The most prominent canon example there, aside from Frieza, is Perfect Cell. Cell would be the perfect contender for the Tournament of Power because, as we all know, he has the DNA of Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Frieza, and King Cold. With the DNA of the Saiyans, he gets Zenkai boosts that he could farm before the tournament, not to mention the Saiyan pride that would make him fight even harder than everyone else. With Piccolo's DNA, he would have the ability to regenerate from any kind of injury, and he would be getting stronger with it. With Frieza and King Cold's DNA, he could withstand life-threatening injuries that would have rather killed anyone else, such as getting sliced in half, getting a hole through his chest, or even self-destructing as long as a nucleus inside his head remains intact. He could also use all of the techniques from the fighters, such as the Kamehameha, the Makanko Sappo, the Kienzan, or even absorbing other warriors if he cannot defeat them. He could even fly since he has wings. Cell would definitely be a tough opponent as long as he doesn't get cocky, but nothing that Jiren can't dispatch of. Cell would also have the perfect synergy with Android 17 and 18 since they were inside him before. I can't really say not in a weird way. He would also have great synergy with Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Piccolo, Tien, and Krillin since they have all fought him before, and he has the DNA of most of them. He would have good synergy with Master Roshi since he's familiar with Turtle School style of fighting. In short, he can literally fight with anyone, and, repeating myself, he is the #1 perfect contender for the 10th spot in the Tournament of Power. A more unlikely fighter from the Otherworld would be King Cold or any of his men. There is absolutely no reason to bring King Cold, since there are a lot of better options such as Paikuhan or Olibui, or even Cell or Dabura if we wanted an evil fighter. But if Goku chooses King Cold for some reason, then I don't think he could do much in the tournament. Unless King Cold has a form like Cooler and he has been training ever since he died, then he would be completely irrelevant to the tournament. But if we assume he did train and had a 5th form that somehow was on Resurrection F's Frieza's level, then he would definitely be a welcome addition to the team. King Cold would be a solo fighter, just like how Frieza did in the tournament. King Cold isn't that different from Frieza, actually. He wouldn't do anything that different from him, except maybe fight different warriors than the ones Frieza fought, but that's about it. I don't know if King Cold would also team up with Goku at the end of the tournament to knock out Jiren, but everything is possible. Maybe he would do it, who knows?
In an alternate timeline, Goku and Whis go on an adventure to outer space in search for a 10th member. There are planets with very formidable fighters. Goku suggests they go to planet Yardrat, because although the Yardrate aren't very strong, they have many techniques that would be very helpful in battle. There are a lot of Yardrats to choose from, but it would most probably be Paibara who Goku would choose to be the 10th member, since he is most probably the most capable Yardrat on the planet, and he was also the one who taught Goku instant transmission. There is also Soba from the PS2 game, Dragon Ball Sagas, who also trained Goku on Yardrat. Maybe there is also another very capable fighter on the planet, but ultimately Paibara joins the team. I could see Paibara fighting against the Yardrat from Universe 2 instead of Gohan fighting him, and also using forced spirit fission to separate fusions such as Analaza or even Kefla. Paibara could also help Goku against Jiren, and maybe even fight against Jiren by himself if he has a really overpowered technique like Master Roshi's Ultra Instinct from the DBS manga, for example. Goku and Whis could also ask for the assistance of the Galactic Patrol to provide a 10th member. Jocko could join the team, but that's very unlikely given he only relies on tools and weapons to fight, and he isn't all that strong even with his stuff. There could be a Galactic Patroller who possess great strength, but that's also a bit far-fetched. Instead, the Galactic Patrol could tell them about some strong fighters they know of. They might know about Legic, for example, who was a very strong fighter given he was able to fight against Super Saiyan Goku from GT. Given that GT Goku is stronger than DBS Goku in base, he should be at least on Super Saiyan 2 Goku's level, or maybe even Super Saiyan 3. That means he could knock out the likes of Caulifla and Kaba since he wouldn't go easy on them the way Goku did. Legic would probably fight alone and utilize hiding areas as much as possible. He might be found by hit and get knocked out eventually after a short fight.
Goku and Whis could also find the planet of the Metal Men. Since Vados and Whis confirm the existence of Metal Men such as Magetta in Universe 7, They could select the most fit to participate in the tournament. A metal man could be very formidable like Magetta, but they would be very weak to insults, so as long as he either doesn't get insulted or doesn't have this weakness, he should be a really good fighter on our team. He should last a good amount of time in the tournament, but there wouldn't really be more to it. At the furthest reaches of the universe, Whis discovers a planet that doesn't just have one, but two Saiyans that survived the destruction of planet Vegeta. Paragus would offer that Broly joins this tournament, but in exchange he asks for the both of them to join the surviving Saiyans instead of staying on this deserted planet. Broly successfully joins the tournament, and, just like in the movie, he quickly adapts to the level of strength of his opponents. Broly barely has any battle experience, so he would probably stick with either Goku or the team captain Gohan until he can find himself an opponent. Broly eventually heats up and faces off against Jiren in his Akari form. Jiren's strength overwhelms Broly, which leads him to turn into a Super Saiyan. Everyone is shocked. Gohan and Vegeta can't believe how fast Broly turned into a Super Saiyan already. Goku gets excited by Broly's strength and wishes to make it till the end so that he can face off against Broly sometime soon. Everyone else is just amazed by Broly's humongous power level. Jiren is eventually able to defeat Broly, and he calms down, but it isn't over yet. Broly rests a bit and fights alongside the others until the time comes for him to face against Jiren once more. This time, Broly's power has increased multiple times over. Broly's power breaks everyone's expectations even by this time in the tournament. Even Beerus himself is worried about Broly's unbelievable increase in power. Broly turns into a wrathful Super Saiyan, and it seems he is getting the upper hand in battle, until Jiren finally gets worried himself, so he goes all out and knocks Broly out for good before he gets any more stronger. Of course, there are some other fighters that could technically join the team, but I didn't mention. Mercenary Tao, Master Shen, Boss Rabbit, Marin, Colonel Violet, the current Granola, and members of the Frieza or Majin forces are just too weak to be mentioned. Pan, Oob, and Bula are too young to participate. Additionally, Future Trunks, Tapion, and Miniota are not present in this timeline, so they couldn't be recruited. That's the end of this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video so that I can continue producing stuff like this. Peace.